Call the meeting to order for Monday, July 21st, 2014. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bob Kirk will lead us in prayer.
Join me in the Lord's Prayer, please. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those that trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bob. Next on the agenda, roll call. Please show all in attendance tonight. Next item will be approval of minutes of July the 7th, 2014. Would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Motion from Jewel Warner, second from Bart Williams. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business? New business. First item under new business is a public hearing pursuant to Tennessee Code annotated section 13-7-203. Notice is hereby given of a public hearing to be held by the Dyersburg Mayor and Board of Aldermen on Monday, the 21st day of July, 2014 at 7 p.m. in the City of Dyersburg Municipal Courtroom. The hearing is to receive public input on the following. 3 different items here. The first is a resolution adopting a plan of service for the area to be annexed into the City of Dyersburg. Property on Fairway Drive owned by David Alexander, AMI Incorporated. That's resolution 07212014. Next will be an ordinance to annex those properties west of the Dyersburg corporate limits. Property located same address, owned by the same person. That's ordinance BB633A. And the third item under the public hearing is an ordinance to zone territories west of the Dyersburg corporate limits. Property located same location, Fairway Drive, owned by David Alexander, AMI, and that's ordinance BB633B. First, I'd ask, is there anybody here to speak to this as it is a public hearing? Seeing no one, this item was brought before the Planning Commission in June. The information was in your agenda. I think there are several bits of information in here. It was approved unanimously by the Planning Commission. Sent to this board, we called for the public hearing. At the last meeting, we advertised it in the paper as per state law. We are here tonight to vote on these 3 items.
So moved, Mayor. We adopted the resolution and the ordinance to annex the territories.
Got a motion to adopt a resolution in both ordinances concerning this property. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second from Jewel Horner. Any discussion? And I think there is a letter in here from the property owner requesting that the city act on this and requesting that we annex this property. Is that right, Thomas? Okay. Any questions? Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Next item on the agenda is Chamber of Commerce 2014-2015 TID Budget and Economic Development Update. We have Alan Hester, Larry White, Jimmy Williamson, Tammy Hall, and Steve Guttery here. I'm going to ask, I guess, Larry and Alan to come up, give us an update. Also with this, they're going to ask us to reappoint Walt Bradshaw and Jimmy Williamson. Jimmy Williamson is here also as the chairman of that committee. So, Larry.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, and the Board of Aldermen. I would like to thank you for your ongoing support of the Chamber. I have been involved with the Chamber for many years, but for the last year and a half, I've served in the capacity of chairman. And I would like to say that as a Chamber of Commerce, we have one of the finest, and being able to see it from the inside as close as I have been able to view it, I can say that we have one of the best Chamber of Commerces in the area. The specific information related to tonight His presentation is contained in individual packets that I think you have before you. But the purpose of our being here tonight, two things. One is to review and approve the 2013-14 draft budget for tourism and economic development programs and activities. And two is to reappoint tourism and economic development commissioners, Jimmy Williamson and Walt Bradshaw, for terms of March 2014 through March of 2017. But first, I would like to call upon Alan Hester for a recap of all of our recent chamber activities and initiatives and some of the things planned ahead. So, Alan?
Thank you, Larry, and also I'd like to add my thanks to you, ladies and gentlemen, for your support of the chamber. I appreciate it very much, and try to be fairly brief as I go through this packet that I've given you. It contains a lot of things, that some of which you have seen before, I know, because they've been in the paper and spread around the community. Some press releases about recent rankings and so forth that we've achieved, along with copies of our Destination magazine that we do every year, direct mail postcard that we send out, and some other marketing material. There's also one thing here I want to call it to your attention. It's the Gearheads program. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but there's a nice 7 or 8 page summary of the first year of our Gearheads program that I included in the packet for you. But in my report dated today to this board, what I'm trying to show you is just a snapshot of some of the things that we're doing. And the first thing I've got on here is just a laundry list of all of the organizations that we are members of, that we participate in actively, and that one or more of us on the staff attend events and so forth. And in some cases, we hold or have held board positions with these various groups over the years. And it starts with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and you can see down the list there and into the second page. And there are a lot of acronyms that we use in our work, and you see some of them there. ICSC, the International Council of Shopping Centers. They just had a meeting in Nashville 2 weeks ago that we attended. SEDC, the Southern Economic Development Council, will have their annual meeting down in Memphis, August 3, 4, and 5. And Larry and I will be attending that meeting, and so on. So all these organizations require, membership and active participation in order for us to be a part of. Now, our prospect activity, I've listed some of the projects that have come across our radar screen that we've submitted information on. You see the code names there, and I've just given you a little bit of a feel for the types of projects we're looking at. A couple of these are pretty active, and we've got some high hopes for a couple of them. A number of them are things that we've submitted information on through the state, and we're waiting to find out if they have a serious interest in coming to see the community and pursuing those particular projects any further in Dyersburg and Dyer County. Under the marketing activity, I'm showing you some of the press releases, some of the editorial coverage, the print magazine ads that we've done, and the Destination magazine. And then under recent events, you can see the things that we're doing. The Tennessee Economic Development Council, the Southern Economic Development Council, shopping centers, facilitating various events, going to the legislative luncheon, the public affairs luncheon. The Site Selectors Guild show was a big one out in Denver back in February. So all of these are things that we have done down through the year, the past 12 months or so. And I won't go into detail or read every one of these out loud, but you can see the next 2 or 3 pages of some of the things that we work on. The Gearheads that I mentioned was something new, and I would like to just brag on Tammy a little bit if I could, because she really headed up the effort for our chamber. This is part of the 3-star program that the state mandates us to do in order to be a 3-star community. And they changed it up last year, and they said, we're going to give every county in 3-star a $15,000 grant, and you've got to match it, and you've got to come up with a program, a new program that we're going to review and approve. And then if we give it our blessing, you will have to execute the program and document your results. And so, long story short, we put a program in place to involve 8 students from each of our 3 middle schools. And we put those students through, 12 students. Am I right, Tammy, 12? They went through this 4-weekend program of what we call Project Gearheads to get them excited about studying the STEM subjects in school: science, technology, engineering, and math. It was a real success. The kids loved it, the teachers loved it, the sponsors loved it. We had Caterpillar, Steve Bullard at Caterpillar and his team really took an active part in it. The college, the tech center, the Dyersburg Police Department helped us out. We had a number of supporters throughout this program, and it went over so well that not only are we going to do it again, we've got to do it for the next 2 years for this grant, but we hope to expand it into the 9th and 10th grades so that it becomes a 3-year course that the kids can apply for and be accepted into, and it gives them a career path toward jobs in the science and technology field that we think is going to be more lucrative in the future going forward for job prospects. And so I'm really proud of our Gearhead program. Under small business ribbon cuttings, you can see we've cut 32 ribbons in the past 12 months. Our goal was 25, so again, we're ahead of our goal. We've sponsored on the tourism side things like the Hoop Fest at Dyer County High School, the Big Deal Tournament at Dyersburg High School. Those are both big basketball tournaments that bring in teams from all over the country. We're a sponsor of the Hall's Air Show, a number of the things that go on in the community regarding duck hunting and so forth. The Fall Festival, we're a sponsor of the Dyer County Fair, Dixie Youth Baseball, and things like that. We've got magazine ads coming out in the late summer and fall in area development, business facilities, and site selection. We're stepping up some of our other marketing efforts, expanding our tourism brochure. We've got a couple of small business workshops on the horizon, and I've listed 2 or 3 things that we're already committed to doing on the national scene with regard to the SEDC conference, IEDC in the fall, and the IAMC, Industrial Asset Management Council group, has a meeting in Canada in September that we're looking at. So those are just some of the things that are on the radar. Now, with all that said, I'm happy to answer questions, clarify anything that I might have said, or anything that's in your packet that you might not fully understand the purpose of.
Any questions?
Well, again, I thank you so very much for your support, and I'll ask Larry if he wants to come back up. We just need a motion on 2 items.
We ask for approval of the budget and ask for the board and mayor to approve that budget.
I think the budget was included in your agenda. That's fiscal year July 1, 2014 through June 30, 2015. I'd entertain a motion to approve 2014-2015 TED budget. Motion from Kevin Chaney, second from Dennis Moody. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries.
Also, we ask for the reappointment of Jimmy Williamson and Walt Bradshaw.
So moved.
Motion from Bob Kirk, second from Dennis Moody. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do for economic development in our community. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is a resolution 07212014A, resolution authorizing the city of Dyersburg, Tennessee to participate in the TM Risk Management Pool Safety Partners Loss Control Matching Grant Program. This is a grant that Sue Teague pursues every year. It allows us to buy safety equipment for the city of Dyersburg. We've been successful probably the past 5 or 6 years in obtaining this grant. It's about $2,500. This is a resolution just authorizing us to pursue this again and get it sent in to TML. I would entertain a motion to approve this. A motion from Robert Taylor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from, who was my first? From Dennis, I'm sorry. First from Dennis, second from Robert Taylor Jr. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next item, attorney invoice that was attached in your agenda as well. The amount of the attorney invoice, $4,950. I'd entertain a motion to approve that. Motion from Kevin Chaney. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Terry Glover. Any discussion?
On that 610, Is that in the right column of Ferris dog ordinance, vicious dog ordinance?
I'm sorry, where now?
610, the date 610. That's Kevin Jocelyn and Thomas Miller.
That whole section on page 3 and page 4, you'll see the total amount of that item was $2,118.75. And let me explain that to you. That was the cost involved with a dog that bit a city employee's son, that the city judge recused himself from hearing that to avoid appearance of impropriety. It was sent to, if you look on page 4, it's sent to General Sessions Court, heard by Judge Hudson. We won the trial in General Sessions. That afternoon, the owner of the animal filed an appeal, hired an attorney, filed an appeal to circuit court, which meant we'd have to go through, I think that's called trial de novo. We'd have to go through discovery, witnesses, all that stuff again at that point in order to cut our losses. We agreed. Of course, we were trying to put the animal down. That's what they always do when we have vicious dog cases. But at that point, instead of going to circuit court and doing all this over again, we worked with the attorney that was hired and got the dog moved out of Dyersburg in Dyer County to another county, never to return. So instead of spending additional money on this, this is what we did. So all those charges are correct. Did that answer your question?
I think.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Any other questions about attorney invoice? We got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next item B is Greg Williams. Greg?
Got a bid tonight for the cemetery. If you remember some months back, there was a cemetery committee meeting on site, and it was talked about the need to replace the roof and to repair one of the mason walls. We have spent some time, the engineering firm has, to develop the specs on the roof to find out what we need to do there, and as best to their ability to estimate the repairs to be made to the wall. So this will be included in the upcoming budget, but will be a repair and maintenance item, and it's something we need to go ahead and take care of before it gets any worse. Notification was given through the State Gazette in the 4 plan rooms. There were 3 firms that attended the pre-bid meeting. Only 1 responsive bid. We do feel like it's a good bid, but it is based on the damage as seen from the surface. So once they get into it, it could possibly be more. If so, I'll bring that back before the board. But I do recommend awarding the bid to Fraser Roofing of Dyersburg for $31,800.
Greg, this is substantially less than what we had been discussing today. We all took a tour out there and looked. We thought it was going to be much more than that, didn't we?
That's right, and we're still not sure.
Till we
But
get
this
in
is
there.
the best, as far as getting it bid and awarded. We feel like we don't feel like it will be as bad as we thought, but it still may be a little bit more than that.
But you think this will stabilize the wall?
This will, if this won't repair the wall, there will be additional work required, and I will bring that back before the board, but we will go ahead and get it fixed.
Okay.
Does this also replace the roof over the entire
Yes,
mausoleum?
yes,
Okay.
and rebuild the sculptures that are causing the problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? You heard the recommendation from Greg. Is there a motion to approve this?
Don't move.
Motion from Bob Kirk, second.
Second.
Joel Warner. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Greg. Next item, agenda report from Alderman Bob Kirk.
Did the filters come in for Okina
I will defer
on
to
the
Andy.
18th like we had thought they would?
Andy.
I spoke with Duckbill Aquatics, who was awarded that bid, and he's now telling us August 8th.
Thank you. Let's look forward to next year. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Bart?
Yeah, I was going to ask the same question Bob did. I wonder if we could have a recreation committee meeting before too long, maybe the next week or two. It's been quite a while since we've met and, you know, heard a state of the recreation department sort of report, and I'd like to do that if we can find time to squeeze one in. Also, I had a constituent ask me about the, I'm not going to say it right, the grant that we've applied for to renovate houses for homeowners that may be in need of, you know, that sort of thing. Where are we on that? Is that?
We awarded that from THDA
Okay.
for repairs, no rebuilds or new homes, but repairs up to, is it $40,000? Per unit, yes. So we're waiting on the grant administrator to give us the information as far as how we're going to select those homes and the scoring and judging of that. Obviously, we'll have public hearings about that people can attend and get that information out.
I guess this person's specific question was, you know, how do I apply for that or make it known that, you know, I want that? So that's going to be forthcoming.
It will. We'll have information in the newspaper. We'll advertise a notice of public hearing. We'll try to get the information out here at the board meetings. Then we'll do it just like we did about 3 years ago with the home grant. There will be a scoring process to see who's eligible for those, and we'll do our best to get that information out community-wide.
Okay. And then I've had a couple of people ask me, and I'm embarrassed not to know the answer to this, but how does a citizen or a citizen group place something on the agenda to come before this board? Is there a specific procedure that they?
There is. They contact City Hall prior to 12 noon Thursday before the board meeting on Monday.
Okay.
And if they will do that, they will be put on the agenda.
I may have heard that once and just forgotten that. And I guess my last thing is I was premature in my comments 2 weeks ago. I was complimenting our candidates about their campaign signs and how they had, you know, observed public rights of way and public land, and then they started springing up like flowers. I guess they were just waiting for me to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I think does it violate our city policy to place signs in rights of way and on public property?
It does.
It does, okay. Well, I have noticed them several places. Are city officials, you know, allowed to remove those?
We are, yes, sir.
Okay.
If this board wants us to remove all the election signs and right-of-ways, y'all give me the word and we'll do it.
Well, I think since it's in our policy, we should. I hate to burden our street department with extra work, and I wish the candidates would observe that. But my personal feeling is if they can't find a good friend and supporter to put it in their yard, they probably oughtn't to be running. Thank you.
Most of them will be gone in 17 days.
Well, that's true, but then we've got another election cycle coming, so we kind of, you know, the precedent that is set now will be followed through November, I'm afraid.
So you want us to remove the signs from right-of-ways?
I would like to.
Okay. Is everybody else on the board in agreement on this? Yea or nay?
Yeah, if it's an ordinance, we'll.
Everybody good with it? Everybody good with it? All right, we'll start tomorrow. Thank you. Mr. Glover?
No report.
Kevin?
You know, we have, every time we meet, we have more and more costs with these vicious dogs, and the shelter out there, the costs are just going up. At some point in time, we really need to stop and see if there's something we're overlooking as a revenue generator from actual dog owners. You know, registration. I know the county has a registration. You know, it's just, you know, increasing each time you look at this attorney's invoice. I got a feeling it's going to continue on that path. Sometime maybe when we're having our budget, look at there's anything we could do to, and there may not be, but if there's a registration or something we can dedicate the funds to this, or the shelter, I think we need to take a look at it.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Jewell?
Yes, excuse me. There's a surcharge being put on the electric bills. Do you know how long that surcharge will be put on there?
I wouldn't have any idea
Mr.
about the
Williamson.
electric bill, but the retired CEO is in the audience. I hate to put him on the spot. Or we could contact Steve Lane tomorrow, ask him about that, ask him to send an email to all of us. I'd be more than happy to do that. I think it's kind of unfair to Mr. Williamson, but if you don't mind, I'll email Steve Lane tomorrow and ask him to send us a response.
Okay,
We'll
thank
do
you.
that. Anything else?
That's all.
Dennis?
I don't have anything.
Ms. Jones?
I don't have anything.
Robert?
I don't have anything.
Just a couple announcements. I have Budget Committee meeting will be Wednesday. That's July 23rd at 9 a.m. upstairs, conference room at City Hall. Also, the barbecue this weekend begins Friday night at Dyer County Fairgrounds. That's Friday afternoon, Friday night, and Saturday. And one other thing from the wastewater department, many of you know that Connell King retired last fall. He was a longtime city employee. He took care of all the labs and EPA samples and stuff. Each year, we're required to test an unknown set of samples from the EPA in order to measure the accuracy of our testing results. Clint Veal, who is now responsible for that, took over the laboratory analysis duties in September 2013, and this is his first set of EPA certification samples, and he achieved 100% accuracy on all the required testing samples. So to Clint and Mike and those fellows out at the wastewater treatment plant, we appreciate the good work they do as well. So with that, we're adjourned. Thank you.